Let's go, Dolphins! The battle lines are being drawn in Miami, and the truth emerging from this training camp is far more intense than anyone expected. While the public narrative has been muted, what I'm seeing and hearing behind the scenes paints a very different picture. We're talking about shifts in locker room dynamics, surprising standouts emerging, and warning signs flashing, especially on the offensive line. There are rookies dominating, veterans under pressure, and position battles that could change the entire course of our season. But there's also a major issue that no one on the podium wants to address, and it's the kind of thing that could derail everything before we even get to week 1. Curious yet? You should be. Because what's happening on the field and in the meeting rooms could be the tipping point between another disappointing collapse or the beginning of something real. But before we go any further, enjoy if you followed the Dolphins through thick and thin. And if you've been a diehard fan for over 20 years, let me know in the comments. Go, Dolphins! My heart bleeds teal and orange. Now, let's see what's really going on at Dolphins camp. Let's dive in, because what's unfolding at training camp is shaping up to be one of the most revealing previews of the season yet. From standout rookie performances to concerning signs on the offensive line, this isn't your ordinary August in South Florida. Day 8 of camp, and while the heat is sweltering, the competition is even hotter. Starting with what everyone is talking about, Micah Parsons. Yes, he's asked for a trade, and while the name alone stirs up excitement, let's not get delusional here. Miami shouldn't, and won't, go after Parsons. We're not a pass rusher away from a Super Bowl, and mortgaging the future with no draft capital or cap space to spend just doesn't make sense. It's the kind of desperate move a front office makes when they don't know what they're doing. And as much as we criticize Greer, rightfully so, even he isn't pushing for that kind of recklessness yet. Meanwhile, on the practice field, Mike McDaniel is seeing encouraging signs from some players, especially on defense. Zach Seiler continues to show up strong, earning praise for his leadership and his refusal to hold in despite contract whispers. McDaniel said Seiler's presence alone is a testament to his character. And then there's Kendall Sheffield, whose return to action is great news for the cornerback room. He's been impressive and his presence is needed now more than ever. But all eyes are on rookie Patrick Paul, who is having what can only be described as a very strong camp. He's held his own against veterans like Bradley Chubb in one-on-ones, a sign that this second-round pick may have been a hit. The word around the camp is that Greer may have struck gold again with his top 2 picks for the second straight year. But don't let that distract you from his longer history of questionable decisions. Alexander Mattison is another name you'll want to remember. McDaniel is calling him a mad dog, and he's proving to be more than just a short yardage back. His runs have been efficient and explosive. Don't pigeonhole this guy. He's out to prove he belongs in a bigger role. Now let's talk about the offensive line, because this is where things start to get shaky. The unit is struggling, especially the second team. Murphy, a backup edge rusher, has dominated in one-on-ones, and that's either a testament to his talent or a big red flag for the depth up front. Terran Armstead being present is a huge relief, but with Aaron Brewer still sidelined and Liam Eichenberg riding the bike with a sleeve on his leg, we're on shaky ground. Brewer's return could bring some much-needed fortification. Yes, I'm using that word, but as of now, the trenches aren't where they need to be if this team wants to dominate. Quarterback play has been solid. Tua Tagovailoa continues to work on his timing, and he's been efficient in red zone drills. The chemistry with Tyreek Hill is still developing, and Tyreek himself admitted that this is the first time he's truly known the playbook. That's right, he claims he didn't have a full grasp of it during the past 3 years. Whether that's a red flag or just Tyreek being Tyreek, we'll see how that translates on game day. Julian Hill has been a standout target in the middle, with several big catches in high-pressure drills. Even backup quarterbacks like Quinn Ewers have made strides, despite some up-and-down moments in the red zone. And Eric Ezukanma, or Eazy-E, hauled in a beautiful 20-yard reception from Zach Wilson, showing he's ready to push for more reps this year. Defensively, the Dolphins are looking scary good. John Saunders Jr. is flashing with interceptions, Jordan Phillips is penetrating the backfield with speed and power, and Zeke Biggers is living up to his name with consistent disruption. The front seven is humming. Seiler had a huge moment stripping the ball, leading to a scoop and score by Chubb. Pay the man already. What more do you want to see? Special teams-wise, the lack of rookie reps is concerning. If these young players want a spot, they better show up in the kicking game. Right now, it's mostly vets, and that's not what you want to see from a team trying to build long-term depth. As for injuries, it's been a mixed bag. Mo Kamar had to leave the field, possibly 4-4, and Jalen McKenzie also exited with trainers. The Dolphins can't afford to keep losing bodies in the trenches. Let's just get through camp without more casualties, please. The signs were all over the field, And now that we've set the stage, let's dive even deeper into what's really happening with this Miami Dolphins team as training camp charges toward the joint practices and the preseason opener against the Bears. One thing is clear. While there are flashes of excellence, the inconsistencies, particularly on the offensive line, continue to cast doubt over this team's Super Bowl aspirations. Let's stay with the trenches for a moment, because as much as we want to highlight the progress of guys like Patrick Paul and Jonah, there's no hiding the issues from the second unit. In one-on-ones, we saw edge rushers like Murphy and McClendon consistently beating their matchups. It wasn't just a couple reps, it was a pattern. Benito Jones, another rotational piece, was tough to move off his spot, even for starters. If the Dolphins suffer any injuries up front, this line could crumble. Brewer's absence is starting to sting, and Liam Eichenberg's limited action raises more questions than answers. He's supposedly the team's most experienced backup, but riding a stationary bike while the rest of the unit struggles is a worrying image. And it's not just in drills. During 11-on-11, the offensive line failed to establish control, especially near the red zone, where defenders like Jordan Phillips and Zach Seiler were routinely blowing up plays in the backfield. And yet, some individuals are still shining despite the chaos. Let's talk about Grayson Murphy, who not only generated pressure from the edge but also deflected a screen pass, proving he's not just about power, but awareness too. Matt Dickerson deserves a nod as well. I'll admit, early skepticism around his presence next to Seiler was valid, but he's showing up. Multiple tackles for loss, consistent disruption. He's making the case that he's not just depth but possibly a factor in the rotation. At linebacker, KJ Britt is bringing the heat. Not just with pads, but with leadership. His pad pop hit to end practice brought an O from the crowd, a fitting exclamation point for a defensive unit that dominated the day. He's also spoken about the standard being set in the locker room, and how the short yardage battles in practice are where games will be won or lost. He's dead right. If this offense can't convert those third and shorts, the margin for error in the AFC disappears fast. Speaking of leadership, Tyreek Hill is making headlines again, not for his speed or highlight grabs, but for what he's saying at the podium. Hill admitted this is the first year he's truly taken notes in meetings and fully grasped the playbook. That's a wild confession from a player who's been in the league as long as he has, and it begs the question, how much better can he be now that he's fully locked in? But of course, with Tyreek, there's always a bit of flair in the delivery, so we'll have to see if the preparation translates to sharper routes and better timing with Tua. Then there's Tua himself. He's had his moments. A perfectly placed strike to Tyreek for a red zone touchdown stood out, as did his connection with Julian Hill over the middle under pressure. But he was also sacked multiple times, including by Seiler and Phillips in goal line drills. He faced a ton of heat, and not just from the weather. It's clear that the offensive line is still allowing too much penetration. If protection doesn't improve, it won't matter how accurate Tua is. And let's not overlook the missed connection with Alec Ingold. Yes, Ingold should have caught it, but it's another example of these small misfires that can derail drives. Zach Wilson's camp performance was a mixed bag too. While he found Eric Ezukama and Tanner Connor for some solid gains, including a deep touchdown to Connor, he also threw a red zone interception to Jack Jones and another to John Saunders Jr. That's 2 turnovers in critical situations. You can argue the defense is just that good, but you also have to wonder what the coaching staff is seeing in Wilson's decision-making under pressure. Now, let's focus on the running backs, because this group is showing serious depth and versatility. Devin Achane had one of the most explosive plays of the day, cutting through blocks from Paul and Jonah for a 6-yard burst. Alexander Madison, as mentioned, is breaking away from his reputation as just a short yardage bruiser. Ollie Gordon showed patience and vision, turning broken plays into